Ah, yes, come in. Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. I am your host, Cheese Film.
And I am Hecubus.
And we are going to talk about another David Lynch movie. A David Lynch movie that is a little bit darker, a little bit more dangerous. This David Lynch movie is called Blue Velvet.
The darkest film noir, I swear to God, I have ever seen.
It is a ride.
It is.
Buckle up kind of ride, because I was not expecting it to be
This
the
movie
movie
is not for everybody.
No. And, man, I really don't want to say this, but I didn't really like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
I didn't think it was bad by any means.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a movie that, like, I will watch again and again and again and again. And then I will become a fan of it. But my first right off the bat, I was like, man, I'm not really digging this movie.
Wow. That's why you didn't get the pictures I got. That's why, because you were like, I don't care. And I'm like, but while I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I need to get this and this and this.
I don't know. I was expecting a different type of movie than what I got.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be why I wasn't into it as much.
Right.
Because I went into it with an expectation of what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And then when it turned out to not be that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, not
I've done that
disappointed,
too.
but I was like, all right, well, like I thought this was going to be cookies and cream ice cream, and it's pistachio.
It's stinky foot ice cream. It's so dark.
But
yeah, the movie Paul?
The alien movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it because he was not acting like Roger from American Dad. I'm like, I got to watch this movie, and I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie is not for everybody, but I think it's really good. And everything about it is, okay, the subject matter is lower. You know, it's not, that's what's not for everybody. But the direction, the cinematography, the acting, and the script are all solid.
The cinematography in this movie might be the best cinematography on any movie we've done so far. I loved the way this was shot.
Yeah, it's really good.
Absolutely loved it. I want you to pull up a picture of Dorothy singing. It's a lot of blues and reds.
But any one of her singing, both of them.
Well, the one I got specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that the coloring of the blue.
So I love looking at it.
You know what? I watched it on Tubi,
mm-hmm.
and you watched it on Blu-ray or 4K.
On a 4K.
I am jealous right now
because
I can see it pictured in my head,
mm-hmm.
and wow, that's stunning.
Yeah, I didn't realize this because when I was watching it, the volume wasn't very high because it was midnight and
mm-hmm.
Courtney was sleeping. So I was like, I'm not even really hearing this. I was just so sucked into how it looked.
Yeah,
that it occurred to me that like I'm actively trying hard to hear the dialogue.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I think a lot of the dialogue is really good. But if you watch this movie without the sound on it, you would know everything that was going on.
It's a very visual
movie,
and it's a masterpiece in cinematography, in my opinion. I think the lighting, I think the camera work, I think it is top tier.
Yeah.
As somebody who really looks at that stuff, I think that stuff has been mastered in this movie. If I was to hate on this movie for the rest of the podcast, that's something I wouldn't.
Right.
That is the gem.
Yeah, and I don't know how especially at the nightclub, because it's just the colors are beautiful.
They really are,
and it's the two colors and then the regular color, but it's great.
It was so well done, and again, like when this movie come out, 70.
No, it was like 85.
85?
I'll tell you, 86.
86. And I mean David Lynch.
What you want to do that now?
We'll just talk about. Well, hey, before we do that, I want to say because this is the one everybody says is David Lynch's most. It's like easiest to get into. Because
I can
it's
see
not,
that. It doesn't have the dream logic in it.
Right. It's a very straightforward story about what we'll get into.
Yeah.
But
it is very straightforward.
What was the term they used? It starts with an A, but I can't remember. But that helps, I think, with watching this movie. That's so you're not like, what the hell is going on here?
If you were like that and this stuff was going on, I don't think you could watch it.
That's what I was expecting it to be. Like all this stuff, all this wacky, dark stuff is happening. And then on top of that, all the Lynchian world building.
There's really only a couple of Lynchian shots, and like it's of the ear.
Yeah.
And then it goes underground, and there's beetles and stuff. That's really the only stuff.
Yeah.
Like this, Eraserheady with going in the tube and stuff like that, or even his later movies, or Twin Peaks with the guys like eating beans backwards. They're like coming out of his mouth. There's none of that stuff.
None of it.
None.
But I will say, I noticed. I think he might have done a lot of the audio on this one too.
Probably
because there is a part in it where they're in the car. I think it's outside of the apartment complex. Laura Dern.
Who's in the car?
Laura Dern and
Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Okay.
And there is an audio cue, like a dwell, which is very similar to what it sounded like in Eraserhead, like almost identical.
Maybe he uses it in everything, and
I
just haven't noticed it.
Like it's his fingerprint. And I don't know if that was just me hearing it,
right?
But I definitely heard it,
right?
I definitely heard it in a way that is like a cameo, like it miss it because you didn't pay attention to it, but like if I was to rewind it, it'd be like, oh yeah, there's Stan Lee,
right?
It was like that,
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll go to the top of it. Directed by David Lynch,
written
directed by him too. He writes a lot of his own movies.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, he did Eraserhead and The Elephant Man, which is probably based on his biography.
Yeah,
John Merrick's biography. Dune, that's not him either. That's Frank Herbert. Twin Peaks, though, the TV show he created, and Fire Walk with Me, the movie of it.
Yes,
that's all him.
Is there
Wild at Heart is
a
book.
Twin Peaks movie?
There's only one Twin Peaks movie. Okay. There's the TV show, the movie, then the reboot that just came out.
And that the reboot is a TV show.
Yeah, it's like a HBO 4 or 5 episode thing. And he did this movie called Lost Highway, which I wanted to bring up during Eraserhead. Have you seen Lost Highway?
No, but it's on my list. It's in the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
I think it's got
It's more probably what you're thinking about, because it's kind of film noir-y. But at one point, Robert Blake's in it, obviously before he went to prison. And he's talking to him at a party, and he's got this intense look at, the guy from Independence Day, Lone Star.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, he's talking to, Robert Blake is talking to him. And he's like, well, I'm at your house right now. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, I'm right there right now. And he's got like this really white face. So he calls his house, and the guy answers the phone. It's messed up. I wanted to talk about that during Eraserhead, and I forgot. But yeah, that's that kind of movie. And then at one point, he just starts going like that, Lone Star, and he turns into another person. It's really weird and pretty cool.
I don't always like doing the whole like director deep dive, but like once you start getting me onto stuff I like, I'll go right down, watch everything you did. And
me too.
He's
cool.
one of them. He's one of them. I'd like to spend a month and just watch.
And we always talk about how similar his stuff is, but like David Cronenberg too. Every movie is different.
It's unique,
totally different.
But you can tell artistically that the paintbrush was held by the artist.
Right, yes.
And I think that's really what I'm talking about. Is it's not like it's the same movie over again.
Right. It's not always Starry Night.
No, it's not always Starry Night, but you can tell that Van Gogh did this other one.
Van Gogh.
Speaking of Van Gogh.
Okay, and we got to do the cast.
Yeah, we'll go through the cast first.
Kyle MacLachlan stars in it.
Yes.
He's the one holding up the ear.
Yeah. He's also, there's another picture of him and Laura Dern.
Yes, that's a good one too.
Very young Laura Dern.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how
Yeah.
early in her career Laura Dern.
Well, hang on. All right, Kyle MacLachlan, who was in Dune, also directed by David Lynch. They're both from Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Twin Peaks, The Doors. Kyle MacLachlan played Ray Manzarek in The Doors. I forgot that. He's in a movie called Against the Wall about the Attica rising.
Oh, really?
Riot,
Dog
yeah.
Day Afternoon? Dog Day Afternoon?
No, that's
movie?
a bank. Attica's a prison in New York State.
Yeah, it was Attica.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It also has Samuel Jackson in it. He's the bad guy in the Flintstones.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Isabella Rossellini. What did you say her name was? I forgot.
Dorothy.
Dorothy.
That's her character's name.
Tom. She's in a lot of indie movies, and she did a lot of activism kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't recognize another movie when I was looking through her filmography.
She the older lady or the girl singing?
She's
a
a
singer.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Do you recognize Laura Dern, Tom?
All right, let's talk about Laura Dern then. She was in Mask, which
Yeah.
came out before this, so this wasn't.
I think Isabella saw Mask and was excited to work with
Oh, really?
her. I read something about that.
That makes sense.
Or even suggested her because of her performance in that.
Yeah, I've never seen Mask, but
I hadn't either. But
she's a great actress.
Laura Dern?
And she's obviously very young in this.
Yeah.
Maybe still a teenager.
That's
and
what
she
I'm-
knocks
that's
it
what
out
I
of
was
the
saying.
park. And her parents are both Bruce Dern and Diane Ladd are her parents. So she comes from good actors.
Hollywood
good
royalty.
stock. Yeah.
Uh,
She's also in Fat Man and Little Boy,
she is.
which we mentioned last week. Fat Man and Little Boy.
Uh,
Wild at Heart, Jurassic Park, and another David Lynch movie that's extremely long called Inland Empire, which sounds really good to me because she plays an actress, and the role she's playing starts becoming her real life, and it's really weird.
Don't see that right there. You're selling me on another
Yeah.
movie. I
And
like
it's
the
good.
sound of that.
And then, of course, Dennis Hopper. He plays Frank.
Yes. I'm
Did you-
surprised you didn't mention Laura Dern being in Star Wars, Mr. Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah, she is.
She's
well,
Admiral
I only
Holdo.
had a few things of her, but
The guy you just said, is that
Frank,
the guy
Dennis
singing?
Hopper.
He's got the mask.
Heard.
Dennis Hopper. Now, I know you don't know this stuff, so that's why I'm saying him last. First of all, Dennis Hopper said other people were going to play him,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this. I'm not saying this stuff, and I'm not doing this stuff. Dennis Hopper said, quote, I've got to play Frank because I am Frank. And that's pretty accurate.
That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, well, he means it in. He's not a good guy. He wasn't a very good guy. He was in. His filmography starts with. Where did he go? There he is. Rebel Without a Cause. He's just a background player,
Okay.
and he was in Giant, and he was kind of friends with James Dean, but more of James Dean was a mentor, and he was learning everything he could learn from James Dean. He got.
Mm-hmm.
He got. He was also in The Sons of Katie Elder with John Wayne. And John Wayne is a traditional actor.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper is a method actor.
Oh.
And they're always like, don't bring that method shit. We don't want any of that. And John Wayne used to get really mad at Dennis Hopper
because he would?
because he didn't know any other way to do it. And he loved James Dean so much that, of course, he's going to do that.
Yeah.
He and Peter Fonda made Easy Rider, which also stars Jack Nicholson.
And that's where I know him from.
Easy Rider?
Easy Rider.
Yeah. And you see, that kind of person in Easy Rider is kind of Dennis Hopper, too. Really. And a lot of the stuff that they filmed was not scripted. It was all just them doing their stuff. After that,
You
he
can
made a
tell.
movie called...
tell.
yeah,
Yeah, you know,
it's...
natural.
Yeah, Natural. That's what I'm trying to think of. Then he makes a movie called The Last Movie. And I was into Dennis Hopper in high school, and I rented that movie. It's terrible. And you could tell, all right, here's the thing. We're talking about Easy Rider.
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge drug addict. Huge, terrible drug addict and alcoholic. And like he's been married several times and it never ends good, and he's a bastard in his marriages. But the thing I want to talk about with the last movie is I'm sitting there watching it, and then all of a sudden the screen goes blank and says scene missing. And it goes on for like 30 seconds, and then goes back to the movie. I'm like, oh my God. After that, or right around that time, he's in Apocalypse Now, and he's great in Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
Then he's in Speed. He's the bad guy in Speed. You ever see Speed?
No,
It's
I've
good.
never seen Speed. That's that
he's
Keanu
also
Reeves,
in
right?
River's Edge. Yeah, Keanu Reeves and Sandra
No.
Bullock. But Dennis
the bus
Hopper.
that can't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Dennis Hopper, I just mentioned how he was a big drug addict. David Lynch is not. So David Lynch wanted that stuff to be helium. So when he's talking, he's saying all these terrible sadistic things like that. Yeah.
See, that's
But Dennis Hopper said, no, you can't get high off that. So he changed it to amyl nitrate. Later on, Dennis Hopper was like, you know what? It should have been helium. And David Lynch is like, he did the right thing, making it amyl nitrate. But Dennis Hopper he was so paranoid, excuse me, because of the drugs and alcohol and stuff. He thought people were coming to kill him all the time. All the time. So he used to do this thing called the dynamite ring of death, where if you sit in a chair and you have dynamite around you, it's like this, 12 and 6 and in a circle, and blow it up, you'll live. But it'll be a big giant explosion. And he used to do that to try to convince people that he's already dead and to stop trying to come kill him. That's who's playing Frank.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord.
And also has Dean Stockwell, who was in Dune with, that's another David Lynch movie. And he was in Tucker, which is I didn't know that, I thought it was a George Lucas movie. It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie about a guy who makes his own car company. It's a true story.
Uh-huh.
And he came up with anti-lock brakes, power steering, seat belts.
Wow.
All the like Ford and GMC, all them, they crushed the guy. It's terrible. Then they used power steering, power brakes.
Stole all his stuff.
Stole all his stuff. He's also in The Player, which is not bad. The Rainmaker, and you probably know him from Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Which I definitely know him from Quantum Leap. Dean Stockwell's a good character actor. He's also in the Dunwich Horror.
Really?
Yeah, the 70s one.
Oh, not the remake.
Right.
Okay.
And he's the bad
he's
guy.
probably dead by the remake because he died in 90s.
No, Quantum Leap was done in the 90s.
Nah, I was thinking of Dennis Hopper. Never mind.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper died.
He
in the
died
90s.
early.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was born in the 30s.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's who's in it and where they're coming from.
Now, I will say that I think it would have been exactly Lynchy to have him huffing helium.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been...
Well, it was his idea.
No, but like that... Because you can't get high off of it. He'd be doing it to just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There would be no real reason behind it.
Besides talking like that.
Right. And to say all those terrible things.
Yeah.
And do all those terrible things.
Yes.
And then have a very high-pitched voice is it.
It's a little more sinister and scary.
Yeah, because you don't.
Well, it's
need
a little
to
more
do that.
scary. But
Well,
I think whatever he's doing, every time he's going to do something terrible, he's
huffing
on that amyl nitrate.
Yeah.
And it's just messed up. Oh, God.
Yeah. And like so the movie opens with they find an ear.
Yeah.
It's loose.
Kyle MacLachlan's, they show, first it's like the white picket fence, the red, white, and blue scene.
Yeah.
With the flowers, and this is the town we're in, and it's there's a guy watering his lawn, and then he does something. Then this is where I think that guy should have probably pushed back. And I think that's the guy that's, what's his name from Eraserhead, that plays the dad. Anyway.
I think you're right, because his name is in the credits.
Yeah.
I was looking for him.
He has a stroke, basically. But in the hospital, he's got that neck thing on.
Yeah.
Now, he put that in there just to be weird with the neck thing on and I got it and all that. And the actor didn't push back the way Dennis Hopper's like, why helium? Amyl nitrate. This is the way to go. And then on the way, he's throwing rocks at a bottle unsuccessfully, and he finds an ear. That brings it up to the ear.
You get the police line that's cut, and I really like how it folds out and there's this cross.
Yeah.
Like, because you're going to need a crucifix.
I didn't think of that.
And then, Kyle's character.
Jeffrey.
Jeff. He's a college
Jeffrey.
kid.
Yeah, he's a college kid.
And he and Laura Dern, they're just taking it upon themselves to kind of investigate or steal stuff. Because they won't ever even suspect us and stuff like that.
Right. But she's the police officer's daughter. That he gives the ear to. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of start talking about stuff. And she's like, well, I could show you where it is. You're not going to Lincoln, are you? Because that Lincoln part. And then they're going for a walk. And she shows her where Dorothy's house is. Yeah. And the camera moves up. And it just says, it's this Lincoln sign. And then that music comes on. I love that part.
I kind of also like how natural, because they go have dinner.
Yeah.
At a club, and then she's on.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Well, okay, she's beautiful and all that
right.
stuff." Then they go to her house. He hides in her closet.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, so this is gonna be like, oh, you found me in the closet kind of thing, and she's gonna be our femme fatale and
right,
blackmail him or something like that." But then enter the husband, and it goes from.
Who are you talking about, Frank?
Yeah.
Frank's not her husband.
Who's her husband?
Frank kidnapped her son and husband and is holding them hostage so that she will do whatever he wants. He has total control over her.
I get it now.
And that's why. And then he show that he means business. He cut his ear off, the husband's ear off. Uh-huh. And then Frank comes in. Yeah. And
I get it now. Okay, because I was like, what?
Yeah, it's not her husband.
Because
it's just a sadistic son of a bitch.
Well, she finds him in the closet, and then kind of.
She does. Then Frank comes in, and they call it the ritual rape scene. Yeah. In things I've read, and that's basically what happens. Frank takes his amyl nitrate, sexually abuses her, with blue velvet in her mouth. Mm-hmm. His mouth.
Well, it's her dress. What she's wearing.
It's a robe, yeah. Or is it the dress? Whatever. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then when Frank leaves, then she starts doing the same kind of thing
to him,
to Jeffrey. Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
it's dark.
This is not what I thought.
Frank hits her a lot,
yeah.
and then she wants Jeffrey to hit her.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, and it
is uncomfortable, and it's like she's got Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, because she's
got her kid.
Yeah, because
she's
husband. Begging everybody not to get the cops involved.
Yes,
and I was like, oh, okay. I thought at one point maybe Jeff mistakes him for the husband. I think at one point
he might have said that.
It's your husband or whatever. So I was thinking that this is just she's doing this because she says, I really like singing the song Blue Velvet. Mm-hmm. I really like the club. This is a life she's enjoying.
Right.
This is the cost of that life.
Yeah.
And you see stuff like that in other movies, and I mean, it's a tragic thing that happens every now and again. The Weinstein Company is guilty as all get out for that.
Who?
Did you know anything about
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to explain all that. So I was like, okay, and that's what it is. But yeah, that makes more, because at the very end, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about that right now.
Okay, yeah. But the whole thing is Jeffrey and Laura Dern's character and all these people live in this part of that town.
Right.
And then underneath it is a whole nother world that's completely different from them. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of reminiscing about that this morning. I was like, because Jeffrey gets caught by Frank leaving Dorothy's house.
Yes.
Her apartment. And now Jeffrey has to basically hang out with them for a while. Jeffrey does not belong in their world whatsoever. And I have been in situations like that when I was younger, and right away you're not in the right place, and everybody's having a good time and everything, but you're the one of these things that is not like the other is you.
Yeah, you start going back. The hair's on the back, like you're in fight or flight mode, and you're stuck.
Because everything seems like a veiled threat, and there are lots of veiled threats.
Yeah,
because you don't belong, and they all know it. And so Jeffrey's thrust into that world. Well, he stumbles into it. It's all all right. Let's back up a little bit, because basically, it's why I say this is a film noir. Jeffrey takes the place of like Sam Spade and becomes a detective and starts doing all detective things, investigating what's going on.
Stuff, yeah,
and he does
trying
all
to help
that.
her.
Yeah, trying to help.
You can definitely. I understand why you call this a film noir, because I mean everybody else classifies it as just a thriller movie.
Yeah,
but I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think the noir part, because it's all brightly lit except for the stuff at night. Is that's not the noir what they're talking about.
Right.
Frank is the noir of this movie.
Exactly.
And Dorothy's situation.
I mean, but like Chinatown's lit pretty lightly too. Like,
it's in Los Angeles.
Scenes. They don't try to. There's not black and white. Like as a fan of film noir, I feel like the has to be in black and white is a misconception.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, a lot of them were, especially when they first started out.
Because they didn't have color.
Cheap.
Yeah,
and even when they had color, like it's cheaper. You don't have to develop it, you don't have to colorize it or anything like that, or So
the process is a lot simpler.
It's straightforward. But you don't need it to be black and white.
No, not at all.
You need the story to be a dark story.
Right. It usually has a murder.
A murder. Usually has a love interest or a femme fatale.
Yep.
A lie, a deceit. The one guy trying to find out what it all is, and then an ending where it doesn't really end well.
Yeah, lots of times.
And that's usually what I base a film noir on. This one, I mean, you can give it that. Like it has very insanely dark elements in it. It's got I don't know if I'd call Dorothy your femme fatale, but she definitely is, because Laura Dern's his active love interest, and she's the one entering
the dangerous
his life
one,
with the danger attached to her.
Lots of it.
But she's not causing it. She herself is a victim of it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, the way it ends, you really can't say it's a happy ending.
No, it ends okay for the heroes, but like the very last shot of Dorothy holding her son, and then she gets that look on her face, and I kind of think a lot of people are like, Frank had more of an effect, and she's more like Frank at the end. I think she's more thinking like she's got PTSD, and stuff just comes back to her because her husband's dead at the end, and she does this stuff not just for her son, which she would have done obviously anything for,
right?
But him too, and he ends up dead.
Well, it's just a real and you're full of emotions. You kind of got out, but at the same time, at what cost?
Right, exactly.
Like it's not. Oh man, it's really not. You don't feel.
It's
like
not
you
a happy.
won. Yeah,
you don't feel happy.
No,
but it has a positive ending.
Yeah,
meaning the good guys won.
The way I felt with this was very similar to what I would imagine the guy from Duel felt at the end of Duel.
Yeah, really.
Where like this whole thing, and now it's finally over, and you just take your breath, and you've gone on this journey. It's changed you too.
Yeah, you are definitely different now.
You are. You've grown in more ways than you'd think.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the plot of the movie, they go on this insane joyride.
Yeah. To Ben's house.
To Ben's house, which you have a photo of.
Hang on, because I only noticed this time. Frank's driving. Frank's got a great car.
He does.
Frank's driving, and he's pulling up. He's like, "Let's go to Ben's." Oh, and that's all that. You're a neighbor. You're from the neighborhood. Just the way he says it. Dennis Hopper is brilliant. With all that neighbor stuff. Yeah, you really get the the situation that Jeffrey's in. When he's saying nice things, neighbor, you're from the neighborhood. Yeah. You're a neighbor. You don't want to be around. But he says they're pulling up to Ben's house. We got to go to Ben's. And says, this is it. And there's a sign in the window that says, this is it.
I chuckled at that. I audibly...
I never noticed it before.
But
this might be the first time I've seen it in widescreen, too.
Could be.
Maybe. I don't know. But did you
I
show up by
noticed.
that picture? It says, this is it?
Yes, I did.
I also like how you see how manipulative he is.
Yeah.
When he's like, we're going to go for a ride. He's like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Go where? For a ride.
A ride.
A ride. And he grabs him like by the
collar.
shirt,
Yeah.
but like you would like an animal.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a predator. Like,
yeah, he is a predator. Yeah.
And this is exactly what I knew. I ended my watch. I was like, I don't really like this movie. Here we are talking about it, and I'm just liking it. I'm like, all right, I did like that part.
You weren't expecting it, and that you had an idea, and that's I've done that many, many times. But they get to Ben's house, and Ben's played by Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell found out like a week before who he was going to be playing, and there's no real direction in the script. So everything he's doing, Dean Stockwell came up with. And it kind of looks like he's being a homosexual guy, but Dean Stockwell said he's a heroin guy, and that's why he's acting like that.
That's why he played it like that.
But he picks up that when Frank wants him to sing In Dreams by Roy Orbison, and he's got a cassette tape, and it must be a thing that they do a lot. And Ben, he picks up a work light to use as a microphone, and turns it on. That was all improv. Somebody on the set had left it laying there, so he just picked it up and started doing that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Roy Orbison also did not give them permission to use his song, so they got it a different way, the roundabout way, and then Roy Orbison said when he saw the movie, he liked that they used it like that.
Didn't he make a music video using stuff from
Maybe
this movie?
he could have, because after it came out, he liked it.
Yeah. But then...
So then
they escape Ben's.
Well, they leave because anything that moves. But Ben's giving him a bunch of money and says, and Frank's telling him about how, who was it that went out there right in broad daylight because he's the man. Go ahead, whatever you're saying.
Well, no. Continue.
And Jeffrey had followed him before this, and he has that in his car, and he's got a shoebox. On his dashboard, and when people come out, he goes like this, and it opens the thing and takes a picture. It was pretty clever.
It's a smart thing. Because you don't have flash.
Yeah,
and it's a way of using the sun to basically a brownie camera.
Yeah, it is basically. It looks,
and it's a very creative. That is a creative mind thinking of
it. Right.
But even that, like, I like how like he does become a detective. He tracks him down. They go up there on the bill. He's narrating over everything they do. And the lady with
it's a voiceover.
Leg.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it's a voiceover. It's
all voiceover, which is another
film noir kind of trope.
Yeah. And they show that lady with her broken leg.
Yeah.
How'd she do that? How did they do that?
Pushed her out the window, maybe?
Well, I know, like on set. How did you get her leg to look like that? Well, just movie mad. It could have been just a prop thing, but
she
man,
might
it
not
looked
have
good.
2 legs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like she didn't have any legs. It got fake legs.
Maybe.
It looked bad. Like
it does look bad.
I know Randy's pretty squeamish with broken bones, and that I think would trigger it because it's. But. Because then he and Laura Dern are at another party, aren't they?
At the end.
Leave that one, and then think, what's his name is chasing him?
Her boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's Frank.
So he's hauling.
Yeah.
And it's Laura Dern's boyfriend. He's like, you took my girlfriend from me. I'm going to beat you up and all this stuff. And
Isabella Rossellini comes out. And she's all beat up.
Horribly.
And buck naked.
And
and then Laura Dern finds out that he's been screwing around with her. Yeah.
And it, to her credit, This is why I said it was an early age for her, because I just recently saw a Marriage Story, and she's in that.
I didn't know that.
And you can tell, I don't know, there's just a presence on screen. Like when Laura Dern's on.
Yeah, she does have one.
It's really. it's very commanding. She commands the screen.
Yeah, she does. She's a great actress. She really is. Yeah, and speaking of that, the two things that David Lynch said inspired him about this movie were the song Blue Velvet and how melancholy it is. And then he's from Montana. Kyle MacLachlan's from Washington State. And when he was a kid, him and his brother were walking home from school, and this dazed nude woman was walking down the street, and he said those two things really inspired him for this movie. So that's probably where the whole story came from, is like him imagining where that real person had come from.
Did, yeah. Because then he would take her back to Laura Dern's house, and they, take her to the hospital.
Yep.
Because, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then he gets confrontational, and is going to go back to her apartment to do something. I forgot what he went there.
Well, that's the end, right?
Yeah,
and he's going, because he goes with, when he goes with Frank for a ride, they beat him up.
Yeah, they beat him up pretty bad.
And then that's pretty much the end for him. He gives everything to the police, and
he's
he's
like,
out.
have your father meet me there.
Yeah.
Then he gets there. We forgot to mention this. The bad guy's got a police radio.
Yeah, because one of the bad guys is a cop.
Yeah. So he gets he gets the apartment. There he is. I was like, oh, it was that guy's here. And now it makes sense.
Right. And the cop is there, and he's got a massive head wound, but he's standing up.
Yeah, I thought it might have been his brain.
I think you could see his brain.
And it's because he's not.
He's standing there.
Fall until he gets shot.
Yeah, right.
But he's like, get here quick.
Yeah, he fakes luring Frank there.
Right, and he's like, oh, you're an idiot. I'm gonna kill. And this whole standoff, finding him.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called, but like it's very intense. A lot of good close-ups. He hides the thing under the bed. Frank goes
the
to
radio.
Kill him.
Yeah.
He pops out, takes the cop's gun, and go back into the closet.
Instead of running away.
Which I would have done.
I would have too.
You run away, you get shot in the back.
Maybe.
This way,
it's
your
over.
only chance.
Yeah.
And you can end it right now. And he opens the door and he gets him.
Yeah.
And then the police show up. Well, the dad cop shows up.
Yep.
It's like, it's all over, son.
Yeah.
Then we start, everything starts wrapping up, but he shot both those people. And he was dead. The husband was dead when Jeffrey got there.
Yeah. We don't know if the cop was dead or not yet.
No.
But
him.
the husband was
He
definitely
had
dead.
the wad of the
Blue velvet in his mouth. That Frank takes and puts on his gun to go shoot Jeffrey. Man, the guy is just so twisted.
Yeah, he
it's
is.
sadistic.
It's crazy.
It is.
This is nuts. But yeah, that was the plot. My initial reaction, of course, was I didn't really care for this, but now that I'm reminiscing about it and we're talking about it, I'm liking it.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm now, I guess, grading it on what it was instead of what I anticipated.
Right, exactly.
So putting it on its own merit, I do like it. I think it is a good movie. I don't think this is for everybody.
It is definitely not for everybody.
And I don't know if I would recommend it to anybody who I don't know.
I wouldn't recommend it to Randy Official, but I did recommend it to you.
I wouldn't recommend it to my fiance.
No, I wouldn't recommend it to her either.
No, but
or my wife or anything.
No,
or any of your brothers.
Nope.
Maybe Patrick.
I was thinking Patrick too.
Because, but he would identify with Frank too much. He likes the bad guys. He likes the bad guys. But my initial reaction when I first heard of this movie, this is the movie of the decade. Literally, I think Siskel and Ebert said that. And it was just, everybody was loving this movie. And I didn't see it for like another year. And so I didn't have the same kind of preconceived notion that you did.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking. First of all, everybody says the movie about the horses, which is Black Velvet. Back then, everybody said that. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. It's Apocalypse Now is kind of like this. But it's like Apocalypse Now. You wouldn't sell anybody to go watch Apocalypse Now.
No, you wouldn't. I also don't know if I'd change anything about this.
I
think
wouldn't.
This is
Not a thing.
Exactly what it would be.
We were talking earlier about, because there's a bunch of deleted scenes.
Uh-huh.
And whenever I see them, I'm like, this should just be in there. Or if there's a director's cut that the scenes were cut out of, I'm like, it's fine with it in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them back in. I wouldn't touch this movie at all.
Yeah. This, I wouldn't even remake it. I think.
Nope.
Because I say that a lot, like, we remake it today, how would we do it? Don't.
Nope.
This is one of those, you can't.
No,
There's
you can't.
no way to.
Nope.
It's just, it is a unique experience on all fronts.
Yeah, it's unique and familiar at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like we keep saying, he's a detective and he does detective things, and but the bad guy is just so over the top and insane,
Right.
that you can't believe it. And it's not like he's the mad bomber from Speed, where you know where he's coming from because his hands are blown up.
Right.
He's just doing it to be.
He's a disgusting person.
Yeah.
Something I did see, I was looking up a little bit of trivia on this. David Lynch didn't say the F word one time. He would just
He point at
to it.
Say that word.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
like you
funny.
can write it, but you can't say it.
Yeah. Or maybe just, I don't know if he would be opposed to saying it. I just think that the context of which he is saying it about
Yeah.
might be a little distasteful for him as an artist. 'Cause he's
something.
kind of an artsy-fartsy kind of.
Something happened too when he was laughing. Oh, that scene. Somebody was cracking up afterwards every time they thought about it, and it might have been Isabella Rossellini. And it's incredibly intense.
It is.
And disturbing and uncomfortable. And or David Lynch, but I think he wasn't there when they filmed it, actually. And then when he heard about it or saw it, he just couldn't stop laughing out of uncomfortableness. You know what I mean?
It's uncomfortable.
It is.
It's real. It feels real.
If you were watching this with your friends, because that's what I did, and this is probably what happened then too, the first time, and you'd be talking and blah blah blah, hitting each other and stuff. When that part comes on, it would be like your friends are over, or you're over, and they start fighting. And now everything's dead quiet. Yeah. That's what this, and it makes you feel that way.
Your gut starts turning.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
I give it a thumbs up, but I don't recommend it.
I also give it a thumbs up.
Listen to everything we're telling you. If you can handle this kind of stuff, it's brilliant.
If you can handle this stuff, it's brilliant. If you can't,
don't try.
Because I'm gonna put a link in the bio for like domestic help.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's how.
That's a good idea.
It's like that.
Yeah,
so like
it is.
If you are somebody who can get through that, it's a movie. Like, it's not real, but how it's presented feels real.
It sure does.
I would suggest it because it is a good movie. It is definitely a good movie.
Moves along at a good clip too.
Experience.
You know what? Was this the one? They said it's got to be 2 hours. So this movie is 2 hours and 1 frame long. Including the credits. It's 1 frame more than 2 hours.
Wow. Not even a whole second. Just a frame. That's funny.
Oh, it is exactly 2 hours long because when Jeffrey says, I'm in the middle of a mystery, that's the middle of the movie. Literally.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like when movies do that.
I do too. And that you can't put any of the other stuff in there because then you screw that all up.
Yeah. That's a good point. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say about it.
Impact wise, I can't remember what else there was, but I know Anthrax does a song called Now It's Dark that's about this movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's a pretty good song. I love Anthrax.
I was kind of thinking to myself, like, who's out there?
Who's there? It's Frank.
Oh. I was thinking to myself, like, what movie could have been inspired by this? What,
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think this is like a little side turn gas station, and then you keep going. Like,
Yeah.
nothing really came from it. Nothing really has changed from it. It's just kind of a stop on the way.
Right.
Things
and you're
have
kind of
come
glad
before
you're
it.
gone.
Yeah. Like, it's what,
It
yeah.
really is.
You know, the gas station in Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Right.
That's what this is.
When you said that, it made me think of U-Turn by Oliver Stone, which is his kind of film noir-y
Uh-huh.
four-way. That came out the same time Lost Highway did. And that is a guy kind of stuck at a gas station that you don't want to be at.
Yeah. But yeah, I would also give it a thumbs up.
Now.
Well, that was also my initial thing. Is I'd give it a thumbs up. I never thought this movie was bad, but it just wasn't what I was wanting it to be.
Right.
The more we talk about it, the more thumbs I'm going to give it, because there are stuff in this that I do genuinely like. The movie Dead Man. I watched that. I wasn't a big fan of it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I keep talking about it with other people, and I just want to watch it again. And I'm just like, I did like that movie. Neil Young does the music in that movie.
That's cool.
I'm not a Neil Young fan.
I like Neil
The
Young.
music in that movie, very good, because it's all
Cowboy-y.
so there's it's cowboy, but it's like a lonesome guitar thing. But it's not
cool.
like the brand on the brand, but it's like if you've ever played any of the Red Dead games, there's like an overture kind of thing where if you fast travel, it's like an old photo and like this. It's just a guitar playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like this movie. That's how
cool.
Dead Man's music is. There's no singing. There's nothing like that. It's just ambient guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck with me. I just really liked it.
That's cool.
And
Yeah,
kind of like
music-
this movie too. There's stuff in it that just stuck with me.
The music is very retro sounding for, like, this movie. The soundtrack could have been in Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
Or one of those kind of movies. It's dramatic
It's
where
a
it's supposed to be.
callback to-
It really is.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested, check it out.
Yeah, and it's not for the timid.
It's not. If you are like, I think I'll pass this one, pass it.
Yeah,
Don't look back.
yeah,
And it's rare that I'll say stuff like that.
yeah. It is rare. There's not many movies like this.
No. But that's all I got to say about this. one.
And there are other movies that try to be disgusting or
They go too far.
botherful.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
This isn't like that.
No.
It's like there are two levels to society, and guess what? You don't live in this one, and it's not the nicest place to be. No. And it really is just showing another part of life, and not to be. None of it's gratuitous. Like we said, there's a lot of sex in it. It's not gratuitous. She's completely naked at the end. It's not gratuitous.
No.
None. Even Frank's crap is not gratuitous. It's, it on purpose. It fits the story and the characters, and it's a really good movie. It might be the movie of the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're exactly right. But
You guys got some cool hat and a cool shirt on. On brighter
yeah.
notes.
Yeah, because it's
to bring it to a brighter note.
yeah,
It
it
has
has
the vibe.
a more upbeat ending. He does end up with Laura Dern.
Yeah.
And at the very end, they're all having lunch, his family and Laura Dern's family. And Isabella Rossellini is reunited with her son. And there's a white picket fence, the flowers,
they
and
go
the
back
nice
to
blue.
it, like to show you that
And
we're out of it.
the fireman just going down the street, waving
his hand,
and
yeah.
everything's back to normal. But yeah, you should definitely get Grindhouse merch.
You really should. It's comfortable and it looks nice.
Christmas is coming up. Start getting it now.
Yeah.
And
Get,
your family will love you for it.
they will. They'll love you more than you'll ever be loved again.
And if you don't, Frank's going to get you.
Don't say that. Not Frank. But really though, not Frank. Oh
Yeah.
my God. But I have been Cheese Film.
And I'm Hecubus.
And I'm Randy Official.
He'll get his cue one day. And this has been
The Grindhouse Podcast.
Cheese Film out.